So why did True Underdog like MK1? Because he's a shill.
Yeah.
Because that's how he gets sent out to activities and stuff.
True Underdog might truth payment under the table.
Nice.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I like that.
No, it's not.
I think it's gonna
Under the table dog.
Alright, so I guess we shall get right into the Game Awards. Dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Another topic.
Yay! The Game Awards! Woo!
I skipped it.
Good for you. Did you not watch any of the new trailers though, or wait? So do you not know any of the new games that are coming out?
No, but I'm sure I can just like literally YouTube search like every game trailer in the Game Awards, and it'll be like 10 minutes long, and then I'm done.
Yep. It's funny that I mean
opposed
I
to
don't even
sitting through
recommend doing that
hours
because
of
some of the
people-
games just kind of like I don't care. Like some of the games, then they'll play the trailers for that.
I already didn't like the Oscars, and they're definitely trying to make the Game Awards just the Oscars, which sucks.
You know
'cause I hate
what's
the
really
Oscars.
funny? You know what makes this like channel feel really old? You said the exact same thing 1 year ago. It's yep. We had this and you
We've
said
been
the
doing this for a year?
exact same thing. Wow, we've had this channel for longer than a year. That's a kind of a nice feeling.
I think it's a sad state of affairs that the fucking Bill Clinton kid got more screen time last year than most of the people who won the awards this year.
Oh my gosh, honestly, that's a
He
really
wanted
funny
to go
thing.
there again, but they wouldn't let him in.
Well, no, he was there.
Oh, I thought he was. I thought he was turned
He
away.
posted a picture of him in the crowd and on Twitter, and people were like, he went back, he's in the crowd, and people went back and looked at the footage, and it's like, oh shit, there he is, right there, you can see him.
It's funny because I watched several podcasts lie then, or like several YouTubers said he tried and got turned away or something, so they're just
really?
wrong.
So what was that picture?
Dang,
then?
y'all are just wrong now.
Huh. Although I will admit though, when Timothy, the Dune main character, the Dune guy showed up, I was like, oh shit, is that the Bill Clinton kid? I'm like, no, it's not. It's the hairstyle's very similar.
Yeah. They all have that same hairstyle, dude. Every Zoomer has the same hairstyle.
It's very funny that I think
mop hair.
I think I was about to say Oscars. This Game Awards is about as good as the last, in my opinion. Just about as on par. I enjoyed this Game Awards a bit more specifically just because there were a lot more games I liked, but it seemed like a lot of people hated this year's way more compared to like last year, and understandably so, especially with the giving the timing of the speech for these people. It's like,
well, did you see what people were posting? That there was like a prompter, like saying like, please
someone
wrap it
like
up.
recording like the countdown to wrap it up and stuff like that.
They kind of need that because the God of War guy would not stop talking,
I mean,
and I like that guy.
You kind of need that,
up.
but then you give Hideo
Just
Kojima like 10 minutes to like talk about his new game. Like, okay,
he's earned it.
But yeah, the freaking people
he's just friends with Jeff. It's nepotism. It's
the
not
freaking
'cause he's
people
earned
who
it.
won the Game of the Year awards and talking like giving their heart out, talking about like one of the developers who passed away, and you just see wrap it up. It's like, wow,
that's sad. That's fucked up.
And then also the Tears of the Kingdom developer who won Best RPG, I think, and it was like he had the translator with him, so someone had to like translate for him while the countdown was going down. It's like, wow.
Dang.
And there's that fun bit where it's like,
I guess
oh
they
yeah,
had to be
here's
consistent.
the voice performance is like Yuri Lowenthal, this person, a fucking stock photo of Idris Elba.
yeah. He's like not even there. It's like, why bother?
It would have been so funny if he'd won though, and it's like this one comes up with like a cardboard standee of Idris Elba with like a pre-recorded message.
Yeah, it is. Actually, that's something very funny that I felt like this Game Awards is like, oh, who wins the Game Awards? Nobody is that something that people care about? Nope. All that people care about is Spider-Man didn't win anything. Ha 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 ha.
Honestly,
that's the big news that
deserved.
I keep
Like
seeing.
I liked the game, but it also just felt like the same game with like stuff added to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, eh.
It's a
Plus,
very
I hate
good game.
the bait and switch they
it's
do
very
in story
unfortunate
mode.
that he
So.
lost. Like,
It's really good. It's just that it's not anything special. Is the thing. Like I started to realize playing the second. I'm still playing the second one. I'm like, yeah, it's the series is kind of overrated. Like it's very good, but it's not like the amazing game changer people make it out to be. It's like, oh yeah, Yuri was robbed. What? Because he fucking growls in the symbiote suit. Yeah,
well,
nah.
I mean, I still think Yuri's performance is very good in that game.
Yeah, it's not a special, spectacular thing where I'm like he was robbed.
And yeah, here's the thing though.
You know what they need?
The voice actor of Asterion from Baldur's Gate, like I like him a lot. He's great, but even I wouldn't even know if he was the best in Baldur's Gate in that game because there's a lot of good voice acting and stuff. But he's very good.
You know, here's what I want if they make another Spider-Man game, because my only gripe is the dialogue is really bad. So Give us a dialogue
luck.
tree. It doesn't even have to affect the story. Just give us an option of like default, sincere, or sassy. And I want to pick sassy Spider-Man option like every time where he just roasts them. Because that's my favorite version of Spider-Man, when he just roasted everybody. Because that was like his personality type. That's what I want.
This is midlife crisis Spider-Man. That's what they're going with.
I managed to get like a pretty popular tweet out of that where someone posted a clip from Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, where Terry just tears down the Joker's entire thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wish Spider-Man was more like this a lot of the time, instead of just being like a little bitch boy who just non-stop talks. Like, let him like normalize Spider-Man bullying his villains.
I will say this that I noticed. It's like when Spider-Man 2 came out. People loved that game. People could not shut up about how many great things they loved about that game, except for Miles' suit. People just hated that so much back then too. And then the moment the Game Awards came out, people were like, Spider-Man was never good, okay? Spider-Man was like mid at best, okay? Spider-Man sucks. You guys Spider-Man fanboys like suck it, haha. It's like, what happened? It's like this gigantic switch for everybody. It's really
crazy.
Funny. I think part of it might be because of the people being like obnoxious about the fact that he didn't win. Like, he deserved to win this and this and this. It's like, so it breeds animosity. It really does breed animosity when you have like such a fervent fan base.
You go ahead.
I wanted to add something. So, y'all were talking about Spider-Man being rude, or being like sassy. Never mind. We've missed the window. I'll just say. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because personally, I felt like it's like I love Liza P, that game. I feel like that game got kind of robbed without being nominated enough and stuff. But like, I'm not gonna be salty about that. I love the game. That's all that really matters. I do think one thing that's really funny was one of my friends, who I bet Snake, you're gonna love him a lot. We got on a call with him and I chatted, and he could not stop talking for like hours about how much he hated the fact that Alan Wake got nominated for so many things. He was like, why? The game barely came out and it's nominated when it first came out, and even then it's just a movie. It's not really like a game.
Alan Wake 2. I'm sorry guys, Alan Wake 2 is mid. Like,
Alan Wake 2 won so many things too. It
pains me to say that because I was so excited for it, because I loved the first one. I've been waiting fucking 13 years for the sequel. It's mid as fuck. It really is. I'm sorry.
That's really unfortunate.
It's nothing special.
I will follow it someday because I remember following the original Alan Wake. But yeah, that was one thing that was funny. In terms of games, did you guys see anything interesting? I have a list here.
I feel like there was like a trailer for DLC or something that I saw, and I was like, that looks pretty good, and that was the only thing I cared about. I don't remember what it was. So.
Oh yeah, God of War got free DLC, which is kind of cool. I'm worried that it's going to be not story at all. It's going to be just like a gauntlet.
It seems like it, yeah. It seems like that seems like it's gonna be like the Last of Us 2
which is still fun,
DLC
but it's my least favorite
2.
kind of DLC.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Nier Automata. I was so excited for DLC, thinking it would give us more story, and it's just like a gauntlet. I was like, aw, damn.
Yeah. There were many games that got revealed, and it was like Windblown, like a top-down roguelike fighter. I was like, oh, that seems kind of interesting, I guess. Made by the creators of Dead Cells. Ooh. And then it's like, oh. You guys don't know Inscription, because Pony Island too. I was pretty hyped about that.
Coney Island?
Yeah, it's called Pony Island. That's the game.
Oh, Pony.
Pony.
Oh, you said Coney. I was picturing like the hot dogs.
What?
I was like, let's go, chili conies, Coney Island.
Yeah. The developers of Untitled Goose Game are making a new game, Big Walk. So I was like, oh, that seems kind of interesting.
Sorry, all I see is your freaking scaly art.
Oh, you want me to post them? Give me a sec, because I posted all these to like my brother when it came out. Do you know Ori? Ori and the Blind Forest?
Blind Forest, yeah.
Yeah, they're a development team. They're making a new game. I wouldn't be interested if it weren't for the fact that it's made by the people who are doing Ori. So that's why I was like, okay, now that I know, it seems okay. Now this doesn't seem too bad.
Big Walk.
Other games? Oh yeah, the No Man's Sky developers making their new game. That's kind of interesting too.
I remember now. They showed the trailer for that Koei Tecmo game, the Samurai one.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, it looked pretty decent.
What is No Rest for the Wicked? Who made this?
That's what I said. The developers of Ori and the Blind Forest.
Really? The style looks so different. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the style looks pretty nice, and of course.
there's also the big Sega thing where they're bringing back Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and other stuff.
Yeah.
They're not showing Virtua Fighter yet. But
People are like, what the hell is the point without showing Virtua Fighter?
Maybe they're gonna wait until like the next time they show it off and be like, well, here's another big thing, and then it's like Akira jumps in, and then Kiryu walks into the frame and goes, yeah, I'm part of this now.
Was this the samurai one you were mentioning, the first Berserker?
No, it was.
Okay, well, this looks pretty good too.
I forget what it's called. Oh, there's a Dead by Daylight spin-off.
That's right. Yes. Personally, my most anticipated game is the Wukong Souls-like one. That just looks so good.
Okay, so is that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? Is that the Budokai Tenkaichi game, or is this a different thing?
That's Tenkaichi.
That's a Budokai
That's a new
kinda
Tenkaichi game.
Right.
People are really hyped about that.
So it's just got a different name now.
Well, it's a new game. It's like a sequel or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that it's like they're not calling it Budokai Tenkaichi 4. It's got its own name now.
I guess so, but it's like the playstyle is the same, where it's just like arena fighter flying around and stuff. People are super hyped about that.
This is the one I was talking about, Rise of the Ronin.
I wanted Dragon Ball Fighters too.
I remember hearing about that. Dragon Ball Fighters.
I want 2 Dragon Ball Fighters.
Okay,
2.
I remember seeing this one.
Because they announced it like a year ago, but they were still focused on Wolong, and Wolong's last DLC comes out today, so they can focus on Rise of the Ronin.
It reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, that kind of style.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks very Ghost of Tsushima. I think setting wise, it's around like when the time of like the westernization of Japan, so like towards the end of like the Tokugawa shogunate, which is a really cool set. I love seeing that. Like in Tenchu, so a couple of those games had like harbour towns that are very western. There's an area like that in Fate Samurai Remnant. It's just a really cool like blend. Way the Samurai had that in the 4th game as well. The big that's a big thing. Like Melinda Megamelons, remember her? That was a whole thing.
Yeah. So because there are so many of these like company making new game, I'm like, oh, okay. That's probably why I enjoyed this year more than last year just a bit, just because there's actually games that I kind of care about like coming out.
Oh yeah, there's that Suicide Squad trailer, and all we're really getting new out of it is, Batman's going to be using fear toxin, so we're going to do Scarecrow bits, but Batman's the one doing it. And it's like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Oh wait, that's right. There was the new Blade game. That was one of you were talking about.
Oh yeah,
because
it's a Blade game
made by Bethesda, right?
wait, hang on. What? There's a game called Tales of Kenzara, under EA, which is apparently founded by the guy who played Bayek in Assassin's Creed Origins or something. Like he founded a game studio.
Interesting.
What? The Life is Strange guys are making another new game about teenage girls.
Excited to see the print of that one. Really excited.
They showed off the theme song for FF7 Rebirth.
Yes.
I like that game's coming out on the 29th of February.
Because?
The date that comes around every 4 years. Because the leap year day.
That's funny. Yeah, we got a month to play Tekken, and then now it's off to Rebirth. It's very funny that when it was like, which one of these games is gonna win best, most anticipated game of the year? It's like you put Rebirth on there. What do you think? It's like it doesn't matter. Yeah. All the other 4 games pretty anticipated. Tekken 8 was on there.
It's like you can't. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
There's a collab between Final Fantasy and Apex Legends.
Skull
and Bones has a release date. You know that game, that pirate game that Ubisoft announced like a decade ago.
Skull and Bones.
Yes, that pirate game that they got money from a certain government, certain country to produce it, and like it just kept getting pushed back because like the developers kept leaving, and now it's like because they took the money, so they have to do it. So it's like they had to, so they could have just cancelled it, but they couldn't do that because they needed to make the game.
Yeah.
I
have to ask the important question
for
anyone like me who didn't watch. Who won Game of the Year?
Wait, you didn't know? You don't even know who won Game of the Year?
No.
Oh, Spider-Man, obviously. No. What do you think? What do you think won Game of the Year?
Baldur's Gate, I hope?
Yeah, it's Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate won.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's deserved, even though I still think Tears of the Kingdom should have won. I think it's very deserved that Baldur's Gate won. Both of these games are like freaking
Tears of the Kingdom
defining.
Is great, I'm sure, but I've also heard it's just the same game.
Well, it's the same game, but 3 times bigger, it's more of like if you want that. Which is also a good...
Which is not a bad thing. I don't know why I'm acting like that's a negative thing. What's wrong with me? That's a good thing.
Well, and also...
More of the same is good.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this before, but it's like, because the main place you're playing on Breath of the Wild was like the land. And in Tears of the Kingdom, you play on that land again, but even then that gets changed, and then they add like a whole entire underground world and a whole entire sky world, and you can do whatever you want, basically.
as in Tears of the Kingdom. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I gotta
That's
go
not
back
what they
and beat
mean,
that
but
game.
it kind of has a double meaning now. Because you have the underground kingdom, the surface level, then like the sky kingdom. So
It's
like
actually
Tears.
more like a sky ruin and like a foresty, like deserted, like underground kingdom kind of a situation. Well, actually no, the Yiga clan are on the underground parts a lot of the time, so you'll see a lot of them.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm happy for you guys because I would have been ecstatic if they made a Twilight Princess 2.
Oh yeah.
Like I would have been super excited. So I
course.
can understand y'all's hype. Even though everyone shits on Twilight Princess, but I think it's gotten better
That's
with
not true.
age. People like look back on it.
It's very funny. I think that stigma started because back in the day when for some reason people didn't like Twilight Princess, and back in 2010, and it's like Skyward Sword is goated and Twilight Princess sucks. One decade later, it's like Twilight Princess is goated and Skyward Sword sucks. It's like, huh? What the hell happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
At first, people said, "Oh, well, it's too much like the original games," and I'm like, "What's wrong with that?" They said that the Twilight Princess was too much like the old games, just like
Ocarina of Time
3D,
or something.
and I was like, "That's not a bad thing. That's the great. That's the goated sauce. That's the secret recipe."
You do see that reversal with like all the Zelda games from that time. It was like, "Yo, Wind Waker looks gay. I don't
I
like
remember
it."
that, yeah.
Came out. People were like, "Ooh."
People were like,
Real
favorite
shit?
Zelda game ever. Yeah, Windbreaker and stuff.
And then Twilight Princess was like, well, people didn't want Wind Waker. Let's give them the edgy game they
edgy
wanted.
stuff, yeah.
And people were like, yo, edgy. Yeah, this is my Zelda. This isn't your dad's Zelda.
It's so
and
weird.
then I think people like slowly went against it, but then came back around on it.
Yeah.
Wind Waker was like, I feel like people just didn't like Wind Waker.
The
ever.
art style, I think that's the issue back then, yeah. But like
Not
nowadays,
just
what I
controls, I
want?
think, because like the motion controls and everything. Also, it's very
Wind Waker?
repetitive.
Wind Waker? Wind
No,
Waker?
no.
Twilight Princess had the motion controls.
Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword.
Oh, okay, you're talking. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Skyward Sword, yeah.
So
motion
when
control.
that game came out, people were like, "Yo, this game's lame and silly. I don't like it," and people just never really came back around on it.
No, I think Skyward Sword when it first came out, people were like 10 out of 10, like best game ever, and then it gradually became motion controls suck.
I feel like it was pretty quick actually, like people turning against it. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was.
Back
it was
then I remember
fairly
people,
quick.
like,
They didn't
loved
like
it
how
a
the main
lot.
villain wasn't Ganon. They didn't like
You mean Skyward
the
Sword?
stupid. Yeah, they didn't like the lady following you around, the spirit. 'Cause she's
Fee.
just like Navi. She pops up every 2 seconds, like, "Hey, listen."
Yeah, 5.
And you know,
Did you
Yeah.
ever play Skyward Sword, by the way?
See, I'm one of those weirdos because I like Fi because my first proper introduction to her was Hyrule Warriors, not Skyward Sword. So I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
I like Fi. She's cool. She's a cool armless
I didn't mind
lady
her. I
who's,
thought
like,
she was
kicks
fine.
ass.
Yeah, she's just kind of.
I just
The issue with Fi is like Midna is too good, so it's like you go from Midna
Yeah.
to
That too, yeah.
yeah.
here's what I want from a Zelda game, and we got really close. And they may have done this in Tears of the Kingdom, but I doubt it because like they won't ever do this. I feel like, but I
hear
want it.
about this.
They got pretty close in the other one though. With damn it, what's the first one called?
Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and Breath of the Wild, we got pretty close to having a already existing relationship with Link and Zelda before stuff went down, which I liked because normally it's the opposite. Like stuff goes down and then Link learns about Zelda, or like he barely knows her. And Breath of the Wild, he kind of knew her already. I want a game where straight up they're already in a relationship. Like it's a very adult themed game, like for adults who've played the series. They're already dating. And maybe even like he's already king or something, and like they're already ruling the kingdom, and then crap goes down. I want just one game where like there's a bigger emotional tie to Zelda, where she's like actually his girlfriend.
Maybe a secret
That'd be really
relationship, a secret relationship between a princess and her knight that they have to hide.
Yeah,
And
without-
the only person who knows is Impa, and she like, helps to cover for them. And it's like
And
like some
Ganon
weird
knows,
anime.
and that's why he's angry and betrays them because she didn't keep her vows.
It's not the biggest like spoiler, but Tears of the Kingdom takes place like 5-7 years from Breath of the Wild, and it's like if you go to like Link's house and on the map, you just go back to the house, you'll be like, hey, Link's house has a lot of like Zelda stuff in here, as if she moved in. Lived with like Link for a while already.
I mean, come on, she's not going to stay in the castle after everything that's happened for the last 100 years.
I mean, she does. Yeah, they fix it up, but then like because of the events, like that castle is again kind of like another Ganon stage later on in the game. But yeah.
That's funny, Sonic, because now that animation I watched makes sense. I just thought it was a cute original idea, but now they're making fun of that Easter egg then in Tears of the Kingdom because it just shows Zelda come in and looking at Link's room and being like, well, this needs to go, and Link can't talk, so he's like, huh? And she like moves something, and this needs to be here instead. Huh? She's just like rearranging his whole house, and he's like, huh?
So in the
It's
original,
like every man who's had to deal with this, like the girl moving in and just making it her house.
in Breath of the
It's like,
Wild,
wait a minute.
you can like put your favorite weapons on the wall, like hang it on there, like porch it up. Like this is like a legendary weapon I kept here. Tears of the Kingdom, all gone, all like kitchen accessories. So it's like, oh yeah, we know what happened.
I'm sorry, but if even if I get married, no one's touching my statue collection. Like it stays here. We can move it somewhere else, but it stays in plain sight. And same with the swords. If I had weapons, like that's my character. Like I'm Link. I fight things. Like I get to keep my weapons.
So,
but I love that. She's just like, I think even in the animation, she does take down his like sword wall, and he's like, ah, no.
that's funny. But yeah, and anyways,
he gets a man cave instead. She like gave him a basement, and that's where all of his shit goes. That's how it typically
actually there
works.
are literally like basements in the game. It's like you can find hundreds of wells all around the game. You can go underneath every single one of them and find shit. One of the wells is like Zelda. Next to Link's house is Zelda's like secret study room and stuff. So that does exist, but it's Zelda's. So yeah, Game Awards sucks, but at least I personally did like some of the games in the trailers and stuff, and you know the memes are always funny, but that doesn't matter. No. You see, what matters about the Game Awards is that one little short tidbit that like they didn't even really announce it, because in the Game Awards it's one of those slideshows. Nobody came on stage to like get the award for best fighting game. But yeah, best fighting game winner was Street Fighter 6 this time, and one of us was not happy. Nuh-uh. He had a meltdown. He was crying. He was like completely rolling on the ground, angrily typing out his complaints. And now
look, I just get
shaking.
emotional sometimes, okay? Damn. Why am I being called out like this?
Clutching my scorpion head, like
not like this.
calling up all my friends at Warner Brothers and NetherRealm to make sure that everything's okay.
You have to like call Ed Boon's
surviving.
cell phone, because he was there like announcing another one of the awards, being like, "Are you okay, Mr. Boone? Do you need a shoulder to cry on?"
When I was ranting and raving and rolling on the floor and being angry, my portrait of Ed Boon fell down, and I saw it as a bad omen.
So, I think, though. So for this topic, interestingly, to give explanation, True Underdog recently in a video and a tweet explained how he thought MK1 should have won, or he thought MK1 was better as a game.
At least was a contender. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it was basically
People
MK1
act like it was an
versus
open and
Street
shut
Fighter.
contest. I'm like, I think it'd be at least a little bit close. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was like these two basically. The other three don't really matter in the competition. So
I didn't know two of them. I didn't know two of those games that were
neither
listed.
did I, really, unfortunately.
They've always got to nominate some non-fighting game, which cracks me up.
There comes a point
Sifu.
where you have to just be like, we need to make up numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder if like Tekken, if it actually came out this year, how would, because I was wondering about the three big fighter games like fighting each other. In terms of, like, this.
It is a shame that we don't get to have them compete. They're all within a year span, but not in the same year. It's a shame.
Tekken's
It
gonna
would've
go up
been
against.
so good.
Tekken's gonna go up against the Project L League of Legends fighting game. Like, that's probably what's gonna happen next year. Unless the Project L is still not gonna come out next year, which is very possible because they only have like what 5 or 6 characters as of right now. It's like, it looks so
They
good.
scrap the whole thing and make a new game, just like they did when they bought Project Thunder. Like they just had an idea, but they go, now we're gonna make an entirely different game. We're just gonna scrap the. We're gonna keep the framework, but brand new game.
Okay, so to give a bit more context in the situation, I was kind of prepared to be like, okay, maybe I should have my bullet points ready to talk about this with True Underdog, because
Bullet points.
well, because I'm pretty sure Snake and I, like, we agreed that Street Fighter 6 is probably the better game, right? Do you think so?
I've barely played Street Fighter 6, but it probably is because
Yeah.
M1K. The stuff I like in M1K is not the stuff that's going to get it like, not going to make it win. Like the story, a fighting game's not going to get best fighting game of the year from the story mode. That's just not going to happen. So like, and then you have to look at like all the monetization stuff, and it really is horrendous. It does hold it back a lot.
For both.
I don't know how much that. I don't. Yeah, true.
For either one.
But it feels a little more rampant in M1K. I don't. Maybe it's
You think
because
so?
I'm more. Maybe because I'm more interested in MK compared to Street Fighter. So maybe I just notice it more, but it feels a little worse for me.
Because, like, okay, if we want to talk about microtransactions, Street Fighter, unfortunately, is pretty bad, too. Specifically, the avatar skins. But it was when they announced the DLC skins, the third skin packs for each of the fighters, that when that happened, that's when people are like, why didn't you say this earlier? Why was this, like, announced now? With that being said, though, ironically, it's cheaper than an MK1, like, skin that you have to buy.
Yeah.
So that's if we want to do it on that level. But yeah, essentially, I'm pretty sure, like, me and Snake probably would go against you on this, dog. But I think the funny thing is, I was thinking I gotta maybe prepare myself a bit, and then I kind of look on the YouTube and Twitter. I'm like, oh, dog was the one with the hot topic. Dog was the one with the hot take. Oh, interesting.
I even posted the Johnny Cage Nintendo Switch to him, like,
yeah,
as like a little imply of like, this is slightly just my opinion, guys. Don't take it seriously. Like, this is just a guy posting.
And
here's... also, I put the "Don't step on snake" little emoji too, like "Don't tread on me," and they still, I'm sure they went after me.
Oh,
I wasn't surprised at how many likes it got. I knew it would get a lot of likes. I was blown away by the 400+ replies or comments. I was like, "Dear Lord!" Not ratioed.
You made
a lot of comments.
You made a huge like statement. Apparently, yeah. And okay, by the way, before we get started, I would like to say that I'm not gonna throw like shill allegations to True Underdog because I find that to be very boring. But I'm only mentioning this because there are literally a lot of people who say that. But more importantly, there are fucking videos that are being mentioned about True Underdog being a shill about this, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
So why did True Underdog
if they
like
say it enough, it'll make
because
it true.
He's a shill. Because that's how he gets sent out to activities and stuff. Where does Snake go? Oh no. But
no, you can be the biggest critic ever, and you will still get invited to stuff as long as you get lots of views, because they're paying you for the promotion.
Oh, okay.
They're not paying you for positive opinions. Maximilian dude has been negative. I mean, I love him. I got to talk to him at the Tekken 8 event for a good long time. We had a fun conversation.
Awesome.
He retweeted my comic. Y'all probably saw that. So I like Maximilian a lot. But he's had the most honest takes on Mortal Kombat, and that an honest take is usually a criticism. It's not a positive thing usually.
Yeah.
Like he brought up how when he was playing an early version of the game, that like some stuff just didn't work. The buttons weren't responding. So he brought up that that's bad. The game's going to be out in like 1 week, and like this doesn't work still. And so he was being pretty critical. Guess what? He's still going to get invited to every fighting game event ever because he's the biggest viewmaster of fighting games, so he's gonna get invited. That's why I get invited too. I'm not the biggest, but I'm pretty big, and so like people will invite me to every event usually.
Snake, are you gonna have that Santa hat like dangling the whole time now, like basically?
Until it annoys me, yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
it's gonna mess up your depth perception.
So just so you guys know, we will still be roasting True Underdog, but we won't call him a show. Okay, that's I think it'll be more fun. Okay. Now
True Underdog, my true payment under the table.
Nice.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I like that.
No, it's not.
I think it's gonna
under the table dog. It's funny to me because just a cursory glance at my channel, you would see several videos in the past week that are like negative titles about Mortal Kombat, like terrible news for Combat Pack owners, or news has players sad, or like bad news for players. Like, those are not positive titles. So clearly, if I'm being paid to be nice, I'm doing a bad job.
It's because, you see, you're a shill, and so when something happens, it's not good news, and therefore you have to be invested, and that makes you a shill, or some stupid bullshit. I don't fucking know, dude.
I'm so not committed that I've become a shill. It's like how hipsters try to be different, but because they all look different, you immediately can tell they're a hipster.
You're playing 3D chess kind of there, phenomenon. Dog. You're not caring. That means you're caring. Okay, that's how it be done.
It's like Pac-Man. If you go too far one way, boop, 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 you're on this side now. If you go too far left, suddenly you're a right winger. You go too far right wing, suddenly you're a left winger. It's like that, but with shill.
So
not care, not care, not care, not care. Cares too much. Just over on this side.
Oh, that was fast, Snake. You already got your Santa hat back.
Orange lightsaber, the best one.
So I actually would like to bring up your big 2 points that you kind of made in the video and on your tweet too. Well, it's kind of intertwined, but
there's 3 points.
The big point that I do see a lot of people bringing up is the fact that you think Mortal Kombat 1 is better because it has more characters to play. It has more costumes to unlock, and there's more
unlocks in general. There's nothing to unlock in Street Fighter 6 after the costume 2. You're done.
objection, and this is not like the biggest helpful thing for Street Fighter, but there's a lot of emphasis on unlocking stuff for your avatar, right?
Yeah, but how do you unlock that?
You also buy them in the shop in the like the story mode
Just
and
through
stuff,
World
right?
Tour?
Yeah, that's in the World Tour. Again, that's not like the
Yeah.
best point to be made, but what I'm saying is that's something that they emphasize on Street Fighter is the avatar, which I would even say that's kind of a downside because not too many people would care about the avatar once you're done with World Tour anyways, like, and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But my issue with that statement about unlock, which I actually kind of agree that MK1 has better unlocks to get to like want to try to get and stuff, but for one, like, let's be fair, like, you're not going to use like 90% of what you unlock. I'm so happy to get that legendary Tanya staff. I'm really going to use that one.
It doesn't matter if you have like say each season of Combat League comes with like 6 new colors for each character.
Yeah.
How many of those are you realistically going to use? You probably find like 1, maybe 2 you like it out of the bunch for each character, and that's it.
Hard to say, yeah.
There is more content, but it's very superfluous throwaway content that doesn't really matter.
And here's where I will say my point, because I don't know necessarily
No,
know
it's like when you have all these like loads of quests in like a big open world game, and it's just boring fetch quests or a massive map and there's nothing to do in it. It's like, yeah, there is more there, but sometimes less is more, you know?
My takeaway is I agree you can unlock more things, but is that really something that's like a big plus for you? Like I probably give it like a couple points. It seemed like that was like a major point why you think Mortal Kombat 1 is better than Street Fighter 6 is you can unlock more things.
Number 3 is like replayability. There's a reason to keep playing outside of just playing it.
Okay.
I feel like the only reason people are playing Street Fighter 6 at this point is just because they like Street Fighter 6. There's no like other thing.
Doesn't that
which is fine.
kind of
That's like its own merit. But
Yeah.
most video
like
games,
that
not just fighting games, offer incentives to keep playing it. That way, like, they reward you. And if they don't have that, it's kind of seen as like a lesser thing.
But that doesn't
like imagine if Spider-Man 2, like the new game, didn't have anything to unlock. You're just playing story mode.
Well, okay,
and, like,
but that's a single player game. I do think PvP is a different like way of approaching this.
Well, but you unlock it in the single player for the most part with MK, which is why I made that comparison. Like when you unlock the gear pieces or skins and stuff, or do the shrine, only one aspect is online, and that's the Combat League, which is still good. I think it's cool that there's a reason to rank up.
Yeah.
Whereas in Street Fighter 6, it's just to say that you're a high rank, but the problem is it's way too easy to reach Master Rank. So they ended up having to split Master Rank into new tiers because like everyone who played the game just on a daily basis reached like Master Rank.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to rank up in Street Fighter 6. It's just time.
Yeah, I think rank rewards, cool. Like MK1 has that. I think that's a plus too. I do think it kind of says a bit though what you just said yourself is if the incentive of playing Street Fighter is just because like you want to play the game, isn't that also on a baseline kind of a better reasoning than playing MK1 just to unlock things? Like that's
it's a great reason, but to me that's subjective is the main issue.
Fair
like,
enough,
I'm trying to avoid subjective stuff and only objective points. Like which game is more fun is always going to be an opinion.
Yeah. And I'll get to that.
So
in
that's
just
why
a
I was
bit.
doing just numbers, like tier, like for example, character roster, right? 18 at launch, 20 currently for Street Fighter 6. You could argue Mortal Kombat 1 has 30. With like the cameos plus the I'm not gonna count a cameo as a separate character. We'll do 2 or 3 for one character.
Just by saying that, you already got some hot people, topic people being like, "Damn, you count that as a character?" Sheesh.
Yeah, that feel counting cameos as characters also feels subjective to me. Like
well, it's not one cameo per character. I did like 3 because like
I
the
know,
number of
but, like,
moves at that point adds
I
up.
feel like
Because
a-
a
I
Street
think a
Fighter
lot of
character
people-
has like 4 or 5 special moves. So if you have like a total of 15 with 3 cameos, you could argue that's like a full character at that point.
Yeah, but I'm not.
You could argue.
You gotta
but I
count them
feel like a lot of
somehow
people-
because they are
I
a
feel like a lot of people
selectable thing in
wouldn't.
the menu. So they gotta count somehow, whether it's
Well,
4 or 5.
that's like saying
at some point you have to count them.
Like MKX has like triple the characters because each character has 3 variations. It's like, yeah, technically.
Some people did argue
but
that,
it's
yeah, depending
still,
on the
you're
character.
still playing Kenshi, but 3 different versions of Kenshi. You know, I'm not. It's not
Well,
like I'm
Kenshi's
picking
the
up.
best example of being 3 separate characters though, because he actually gets entirely new moves.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is like that.
Yeah.
For people, that won't really count as like more characters. You know, it's like I'm not picking up MK1 because I can play Kano. It's like no one's gonna pick up MK1 because your favorite is a cameo fighter. I'm pretty sure
Sure.
about
Well,
that.
if that's the argument, then let's just do just the base roster.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
still at this point 4 more characters in Mortal Kombat than there is Street Fighter. There's still 4 more, and they have bigger move lists too. Like Katana has like 12 special moves, whereas like the average Street Fighter character just has like 5 or 6.
Okay.
And they only have normal attacks. They don't even have strings for the most part. So like every character has the same normal attacks as far as numbers, give or take like 3 or 5 target combos. Whereas every Mortal Kombat character has those same number of normal attacks, but also has strings and more specials. So you could argue that like one MK character already has like more stuff.
But does that necessarily make
That's why I got bored with
it
Street Fighter
better?
6 actually, is because like the main gameplay of both or of every character was like stay at footsie range, throw your poke out. If it's blocked or hits, dash because that spins your overdrive, and then you are forced to do pressure for a mix-up, or you can get a combo off of that. And that's like how every character plays, unless they're a zoner or a grappler. It's like the same play style of like get in, pressure or mix or combo, and then Oki pressure with the drive dash again, because that's the most OP thing in the game right now is that drive rush where you dash in with the green stuff.
Yeah.
Green stuff, they call it.
The green
in
rush,
fact, the most busted thing in the meta right now is to do a fireball and then drive rush behind it. Because, or like overdrive behind it. I forget what it's called when you just do the drive rush. I think it is drive rush, yeah. Where you run in behind it, because you get guaranteed plus frames off a projectile. And even if the opponent jumps, you go underneath them. So they just miss completely. It's a zero risk, high reward setup. And that's why the projectile characters like Luke, Ryu are like the really good characters. There's still like some okay characters that don't have projectiles like Cammy and stuff that are also top tier. But she's still playing the same game. She's throwing a poke out. If it lands, she's drive rushing and then doing her combo. If it's blocked, she drive rushes, goes for a mix-up. It feels like every character is playing a similar game, unless you're a heavy keep-away character, like JP, or like someone else. Or if you're a in-your-face, only rush-down character purely, like maybe Marissa or Cammy. Even Honda's kind of like that. He's a very pressure character now. But you get what I say, right? Like,
you're kind of putting, you're kind of making 2 points
because I love
right
both
now.
the games, but I got bored of Street Fighter 6 because every time I learned a new character, it was still that same gimmick for the most part. The main difference was how do I mix them, or how do I Oki pressure, and that was the main difference I found with every character in Street Fighter 6.
Okay, but you're now talking about 2 things. I want to go back to the first thing, which we'll get into gameplay in just a bit. I want to go back to the base roster.
More characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like for more unlockables and more grinding or things you can do in the game. I kind of agree, and I would say my only point is saying like you making that as a big point. I think I personally don't agree with that. I say that's like a couple points up. Just because a base roster has more characters, I don't see that as like an advantage. Like, yeah, of course I want more characters. I want to play more characters. I want to have more fun with that. But like, I still think a fighting game, like, it depends on like how much time you work on these characters, how much time you like do things is more important. Like, if that's the case, then I think Nick All-Star should win. That has 25 characters in the base roster. Heck, that game, each character has 3 skins, by the way, in Nick All-Stars.
I mean, hey, All-Star Brawl is a fun game. I'm going to say it. It's a fun game. I like it. The first game was weird because it had no sound when it first came out. Yeah. There was like no voice for the character, so that was super weird. It was like muted combat. It was really weird.
So Nick All-Star
the reason I bring up the
like
roster is because that's the first thing that normies complain about when a fighting game launches, is how small the roster is. And it was the case for Street Fighter 6 also. People were like, wow, only 18? That's like really low for like a launch. Soul Calibur 4 like years ago, or Soul Calibur 5, sorry. Soul Calibur 5 years ago launched with 23, and people were mad and said that was way too low. So that just shows like people care about the number of characters.
They do.
The fact that Mortal Kombat launched with 24 or 23 plus all the cameos, I think is impressive, because at the end of the day, they do have more animations, they have more attacks, right? Different character models, so it takes time to make these things, and you're paying the same price for both games. So you could already argue the amount of effort and time and money that went into MK1 is higher than Street Fighter 6 on just the roster alone.
I disagree with that, because I actually genuinely think Street Fighter 6 characters, their animations and like their art styles and like their designs, I think there was more effort put into that than Mortal Kombat 1 in terms of the animations.
Into them, yeah, but there's
I'm
not
not
very
talking
many.
about gameplay stuff, because that's actually, I was going to bring this up later on. Personally speaking, the reason why I think Street Fighter 6, and this is my personal take on it, I think Street Fighter 6 is better,
no matter what.
is specifically just because of the art style. Because I look at that art style, I'm like, damn, that is insanely unique and insanely good looking. That first trailer that came out, I'm like, wow, no other game I can really think of is going like this hard on it. And I feel that like Street Fighter 6
Tekken,
with like
that's it,
each of these characters are like there's a lot of thought put into like, okay, what are we gonna do here with like based off character designs, based off like their abilities and stuff like that. Whereas I look at MK1 and I'm like, yeah, sure, there are great characters in MK1, but I look at them and I'm like, some of these look like a first draft in terms of like characters or like what we want to do with them. And to me, in that aspect, I think Street Fighter 6 has more like they put more time into this, you know, like.
We're still once again in like subjective territory because it's like what we like the most. But yeah, no, that's fair to say that. I hate realism. I hate that Mortal Kombat in almost every game, with the exception of a couple, has adopted realism.
Yeah.
There's very few game developers that are still trying to keep style, which is the smarter choice because stylized games are forever. They never look old. Dragon Ball FighterZ is never going to look old. Like, it's going to look great years from now. Mortal Kombat 1 is going to look outdated in just like 2 years. Because every game's going to already up the graphics and realism. You know what I mean? So I really do wish they would adapt something to look stylized, even if it's just the lighting. Like, the lighting in Street Fighter 6 is really cool. It's not realistic, but who cares? Like, you can be in an alley in Street Fighter 6, and despite it being like daylight, the light on your character is like blue and purple. It's coming from like nowhere, but you have like blue and purple on your character, and it looks cool. Yeah. Like, we need more of that in Mortal Kombat. Just like cool lighting.
To make a bit more stylized, because this game has more color. That's the big thing that I would say.
That's true. They finally brought back color.
And your moves actually have way more effects, so that way you can see what your moves are doing. I see small things at least, so it's a little bit better than like previous games in that aspect.
My argument doesn't go any deeper than mostly just there's more characters, so that's already like, okay, we can say that Mortal Kombat 1 has more characters. And like, most people do care about roster size. I think Street Fighter 6 did a good job with the roster. I didn't want anything more when I was playing, so I'll say that. But we're comparing them, so we have to look at like objective stuff. So that was my first point. The second one was that World Tour is way better than Invasions, but Invasion and Story Mode. Everyone seems to forget that Story Mode's like a separate mode that you don't really get in Street Fighter 6. You get kind of a story for your avatar, but it's like a weird, all over the place kind of story. It's still fun, but what happens to the main characters? Like, we don't really know.
And I will say this is a point that I agree with, because like you said, World Tour is being compared with Invasions, and I think that's really because it's very similar in terms of like the style, where like you're running on a map, you're fighting other characters and stuff like that. But like you said, World Tour should be compared to Story Mode, and I agree. MK1 has a cinematic story mode compared to like Street Fighter, which is like a open world type kind of mode and stuff like that, and that should be the part that should be compared. I don't have an opinion about the World Tour yet because I haven't started that, so I might change my opinion based off of that. But you know, cinematic story mode is kind of important too, and I will give MK1 that point. I think that is something that makes sense, unless of course you're making a hot take and you're saying Invasions is better than World Tour.
No, it's not.
Okay, there we go.
I will say that World Tour did disappoint me though, because the trailer was a bit misleading. The trailers made it seem like every single country had its own explorable area, and they don't.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
The first area, the city, is explorable, and the final area, which is like in the Middle East, I think, or like in Southeast Asia or something, that one, oh shit, video went live.
What?
That area.
What?
That area is also fully explorable, but everything in between is just legit a single tiny area that you can't even move the camera in, and like you just that's it. And that kind of made me sad. I was like, okay, they either ran out of time, budget, or just thought it wasn't worth it. But I thought every area would have explorability, and it sadly don't.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to see London, which is in the game, guess what? All you get is that tiny angle of London. You see a bus, a building. There you go. That's London.
Yeah.
There might be a phone booth somewhere.
So, yeah, those are the main points you kind of brought up on your tweet, and from what I recall, your video. And I think you needed to kind of explain way, because okay, these are, in my opinion,
I only have so many characters on Twitter, at least.
What Twitter? What?
I only have so many letters I can use on Twitter. Like, I'm limited.
Oh, I guess so. But what I mean is, even on your YouTube video, you kind of just are the kind of
dog. You could have said, like, you know, it's Twitter's like Street Fighter. There aren't enough characters.
But I do kind of want to get a little bit.
Can you hold that thought? I have to do something on that video real quick. That's why I had an alarm.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. Come on, Snake.
Right back. Oh no, my hair.
We gotta come up with some.
Out. Blur my hair when it shows up.
What's up with your hair? We gotta come up with some funny rebuttals. Gotta hoo-hoo-ha.
Russian roulette.
What do you mean Russian roulette? What are you gonna do with Russian roulette?
What do you think Russian roulette is?
I mean, like, why are you doing Russian roulette? Is what I meant to say.
Why not?
What do you mean, why not?
See what happens, you know.
On YouTube, guys, live on the Kombat Kings podcast.
I mean, look, this is clearly not a real gun.
It's not real, YouTube.
Clearly,
it's not real.
See, I just spoiled myself because I saw where the round is. Like, so I know that's going to go into the chamber next, so I'm fucked. Do you watch?
Oh. Oh. It's a
So
cute.
you see, I if I had put that to my head, I would have shot myself, and it would have been like, well, there you go. Let's play Russian roulette. Immediately shoot yourself and dies.
How'd you call it? Let's see. We are okay. How about we can end this into? If we, I could either make this a very long episode or split it in two. I kind of want to split it in two, so we'll see.
I mean, that means you have to do a 4-hour episode, edit a 4-hour episode, while still writing your main video.
Oh,
and get this all done in two.
I'm not gonna write. I'm not gonna write while I'm editing a podcast. I can't do that.
No, I mean it takes time away from it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I know. It's fine. I can try to. I'll try to finish it tomorrow, just because I want to finish the Baraka chapter.
Hey,
but yeah.
put that gun away.
Welcome back after your
Put the gun
Yoshimitsu
down,
video just
Snake.
came out.
Put the gun down.
Excited to see how you play Yoshimitsu. Okay.
I like how the comments are just like, yeah, okay.
Wait, let me see.
Like, just people saying yeah.
So excited for hi, yeah, hello, hi. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's like the most generic one word.
When my videos go live, I usually get a comment from someone saying first, and they're like second or third. Very rarely are they actually the first person.
I used to get that, but
That's
now
how
I
you
don't
know
really.
you've made it, Snake. You know you've made it when people are saying first in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. Sonic was in the middle of making a great point.
Okay, yeah, I just kind of wanted to mention the gameplay about
Gotta go.
What the Because, okay, like, obviously I'm not going to qualify talking about, like, gameplay mechanics in fighting games and stuff. And, again, like you said, this is a very subjective topic. But I kind of wanted to mention something. Like, you made a lot of your own personal points as to why you, like you said, you didn't, like, play Street Fighter 6 as much as MK1 and all that kind of stuff. And I think those are some really good points you could bring up if you ever delve into this topic again. But what I wanted to bring up is, like, Street Fighter 6 definitely has a way easier bar, like, level for beginners. And I think perhaps
Which is fascinating.
that is something that probably attracts more people into wanting to play Street Fighter 6. Like,
I'm actually really confused why NetherRealm hasn't done that yet. You'd think they'd be the
mean, like,
first one
modern
to add
controls?
auto combos and stuff because they're aware that they're a very mainstream game.
Exactly.
But like,
but even
they haven't. They're the only game now that hasn't. Even Tekken has auto combos now. So the big three, Mortal Kombat's the only one that's not getting easier in that regard.
But even without talking about the modern controls, like, Street Fighter 6 doesn't even have, like, super long MK1 combos and stuff. You don't need to, like, memorize like a math equation for doing, like, a 15-second combo.
Yeah, not unless you want to spend everything, which is not worth it.
But, like, Street Fighter is also more important with the mechanics of, like, the drive rush, the parries, the arts and stuff. Like, that mechanic is
the
more
dreaded
important.
drive impact.
Yeah.
Everyone's most hated thing ever.
Match starts, drive impact. In my reptile
I mean,
video,
I can beat it easily because I just react to it. I train my brain to like see it, and now like it's a death sentence. If anyone tries to drive impact me, you're getting drive impacted right back on reaction.
Yeah.
So just don't even do it. It's off the table.
In my
Plus, I play grapplers.
In my like reptile gameplay video, I kind of like in my video I just every time the match starts I just use enhanced shoulder dash and I just play the drive impact like sound effect. I think it worked 90% of the time in my games. But yeah, like here's an example I can make. So Lies of P, a Souls-like game that came out this year, is literally one of my favorite Souls-like, probably top 3 like favorite Souls-like I've ever played. It's so damn good. I love it so much. I love it more than Bloodborne. Shh, don't tell anybody about that. I just think it's amazing. Ooh. I would never recommend that game to anybody. Because
damn, just too hard, huh?
It is so the reason I even played it was because I heard it's very hard. There, like, for Snake, he couldn't even finish Dark Souls 1. This game is like, imagine Dark Souls 1.
I finished Dark Souls 1.
Oh, I thought you didn't finish Dark Souls 1. Never mind then.
No, is Lives of P fun at least? Like, it's hard in a fair way?
Yeah, in my opinion. Some people don't think that way.
As long as it's not fair in like a dumb way, like you totally dodge the move, but you still got hit anyway. As long as it's not hard in that regard, then I'm fine.
Yeah,
I hate when it's hard. Like, I played this one samurai game early. Forgot what it was called. It's like an Onimusha style game, but like it had Dark Souls playstyle to it, but it was just ridiculously stupid. Like, the unblockables were impossible to react to. The only way you could beat a boss is if you had played it like 10 times. There was no way to actually just adapt to what the opponent's doing. You had to legit just memorize and do muscle memory. There was no way to actually like react to anything.
A lot of Souls-likes are kind of like that too. It's like, you know what the boss is.
You could beat a boss in the first try in Souls though sometimes.
I actually did do that in Liza P. I did do like one of the bosses in the end, like one of the last bosses is like so bullshit that even players are saying this is the worst boss in the game, and it's like the developers made like a horrible decision, like not baking this boss in up. It's just bullshit. I actually beat it on my first try, and I'm like, holy shit! I was like super like.
Sonic said, "Hold on, let me solo him."
But
step aside.
But what I was saying was like, imagine Dark Souls, but like basically make sure you have the parry with the shield parry. Make sure you parry everybody in there, and you're like so squishy you die in 2 to 3 hits. Like that's kind of how Liza P was at first.
That's my only issue is the dying in 2 hits. I don't mind the having to dodge and parry. That's like how Bloodborne was anyway. There was no block.
Okay.
Because we hard as fuck out here. So I was okay with that. But dying in 2 hits, ooh.
Have you played Sekiro before?
No.
Okay, then it's
the only
hard.
one I haven't gotten to play.
That's my second favorite Souls, like just so you know. I love that game. But beside the point, people say Liza P is like a Bloodborne combination with Sekiro because you can dodge. And you can hold your sword out and like block, but if you pulled it out perfectly, you do a perfect parry. Which, if you do that a lot of times successfully, you can break your opponent's weapons or like deal posture damage.
Break their guard.
Yeah, that's like the mechanic you got to go with. Anyways, long story short, my point is I love Liza P, but I would never recommend that game to anybody because I know how difficult that game is. And I kind of see MK1 in that same situation. A lot of pros are like, dude, cameo fighters, ambush, like you can do these sick combos and like all this sort of shit. It's amazing, and I love that kind of stuff. And then you got all these people on the low part, people being like, how do you do a 30% combo? Like, what the hell? It's so hard to time it and stuff. And I think, unfortunately, beginner players, casual players, will lean more towards Street Fighter 6 because of that. That's an observation as to why I think Street Fighter 6 won a bit more. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be subjective at the end of the day. I just wanted to pull up my my opinion on it because everyone else, I don't mind thinking Street Fighter 6 is better. That's a completely valid opinion to have, like 100%. I was playing that game every night with my friends for a bit. It's a very fun game, and it's still fun. I just didn't. The newest character that came out wasn't very good. Like, she's fun to play, but she's like super low tier. So like,
that's what I
got
heard,
a bit frustrated. I was like, dang, this character just came out of the gate like bad. She tripped at the starting line. So I was looking forward to her, and now I'm kind of bummed, a bit jaded. But Street Fighter 6 is a fantastic game. Like, I loved it. World Tour, amazing. Every developer needs to copy that. Like, every game needs to have a World Tour from now on. I will not accept anything less. I feel like I'm kind of salty because I feel like if they had made Invasion mode just first person or third person and same map, but just you can actually walk around freely, would have been like already a game changer because you could actually look at stuff and whatnot. You know, it'd be really cool as opposed to this dumb game board with like the one camera. Like, it's not as cool, you know. And just add a couple NPCs to talk to for optional fights. Like, boom, you've already got an instantly better game. So I am frustrated by that. I just posted my tweet because people acted like it was a steamroll. Like, it's not even up for debate which game is better. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. It's definitely up for debate which game could win.
Yeah, it's not like absolutely Street Fighter 6. I think there's merit to it. It's not like you said, it's not a steamroll. But I will add one last thing that I think objectively this is the reason why MK1 lost. It had too many bugs. Like, I felt like, especially day one.
No crossplay, also a big deal.
Yeah, it was like, as a content creator, I'm still can't believe the game's 3 months old. We still have a no HUD mode. It's like, hello. Like, I want to record
I noticed
my
that
maps.
when making my funny video. There was no way to get rid of the HUD.
Yeah, still.
But guess what? Counterpoint. We got mods, and they're banned now in Street Fighter 6. If Capcom catches using mods, they will punish you now.
Wait, really? Because I heard.
Yes, even on stream or videos, they'll get mad at you. You'll get striked. Or taken down.
Then I can't play my Street Fighter 6 recording then because I have mods.
Just because you can still try. We'll see what happens. Just because that one guy ruined it for everybody with naked Chun-Li.
I have heard that some people are saying that they were banning it, but at the same time I heard it's not really, they're not doing it much from what I've heard. But I'll look into that.
That'd be good then.
With that being said, the Street Fighter 6
been
mods.
Nothing about the Mortal Kombat mods. Just do whatever you want. Like, it's all good.
With that being said, the Street Fighter 6 mods are pretty good too. Like, I've been playing around with that recently too.
Some of them are actually ours, which is funny. I saw someone mod a sexy outfit on the new girl, Aki,
Uh-huh.
and it's just Melina's MK9 outfit.
Oh, interesting. That's
So they're
kinda
putting
cool.
Mortal Kombat mods on Street Fighter characters, and they
Yeah,
look
like-
good because Street Fighter understands how to actually proportion people to look cool and stylized, whereas Mortal Kombat just goes generic female body type A,
Well,
generic
so
male
you're-
body type
so-
B.
It
So-
is
and, like,
because of
that's
the
it.
fatalities. That's
So
one of the
you're
big
telling
reasons.
me that if someone takes some of the designs, the outfits from the new the latest MK game, and puts them on
Yeah.
Street Fighter characters, they'll have normal proportions and like logical sized feet? Is that
Oh.
what you're telling me here, dog? Is that
Big
what
feet,
you're
'cause
saying?
it's
You need to
Street
tell your
Fighter,
friend about
so-
this. You need to tell your friend about this. Street Fighter
Yeah.
characters with MK feet. I mean MK costumes, and with Street Fighter feet. Ooh.
Yo, like what? Melina's feet are too small. Put her outfit on Jory. Bam, problem solved.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
They
like
already put Juri's outfit on Melina. That's one of the mods. They took the pajama outfit for
Oh,
Juri
yeah.
and put it on Melina already, so you can
Oh,
wear
really?
like the
That's
pajamas
awesome.
on Melina. It doesn't look that good because the skin weights when you do the split attack with Melina like tears the the
that
mesh.
clips out.
It looks all
and
stretched.
Stuff.
Yeah. Well, because it didn't account for that. Also, it doesn't have the fluffy physics that Street Fighter 6 has. Like all the clothing in Street Fighter 6 all has like separate physics, and it does too in Mortal Kombat, but it's not coded into Mortal Kombat 1 with the Street Fighter outfit, so it probably doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think again another one of my friends, the same guy who hates Alan Wake, like he loves Pokemon. Like he plays all of the most recent games. Even he has like a passion for it, so he also hates the company. He brings up that this company's fucking shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, 48 hours later, for day one of this Pokemon game, and we were kind of curious when we asked when Scarlet and Violet just came out. We were like, so what do you think about that game in general? And he's like, probably like an 85. It's like all these new mechanics that get added into there, the open worldisms. It's like the roaming around, all this kind of like you can fight. This is amazing. I love these things in the new Pokemon game. But I'm gonna have to give it 50 because of the bugs. It's like wow, like yeah, if they fix the bugs, I will love the game. But the bugs, like
Yeah.
FPS drops, like all these funny glitches that you see on Twitter back in the day, like they ruined that game for him. And I can definitely
Yeah.
see that for like MK1 for many people. So it's like
I don't know if Mortal Kombat 1 has cheaters yet, but Street Fighter 6 has a big cheater problem right now too. Like there's no detection system for the modding.
Ooh.
So people are using macros where if it's not a very good mod because you can still lose to the opponent if they just don't do certain moves, but basically it goes like this. If the opponent does a move that has long enough recovery that it loses to drive impact, the cheat mode will have your character automatically do drive impact on reaction frame 1 to that move to guarantee the punish. Like every single time.
so
It'll do it on reaction to so many things. And if you do drive impact, the opponent with the cheat will just pop super immediately. Frame 1.
so
Because that beats it. So
I just
yeah.
looked up cheaters on MK1 and there's nothing except for the guy who called you a show made a video about it. That's it. That's all I found. That's
Same guy?
yeah, same guy.
He made 2 videos on me?
No. He made a video about cheaters in MK1 and yeah, so I
Oh,
just find
okay.
that very funny to be like coincidental. But yeah, anyways,
I was hoping he made 2 videos on me. The power I wield.
but yeah, overall, I just wanted to like chat with you about this, kind of understand your sites, and I understand your perspective a bit more. I think it's interesting to hear why you think MK1 is a better game than Street Fighter. I'm like, okay,
And
I like
it's done by voting, right? The Game Awards is done by actual voting. Like you go online and
I
vote.
don't know if it matters that much actually, because people say like, oh, 90% of the votes is why. I'm like, really? I feel like it's only like maybe 10 or 20. The ultimate vote is still by the juries, right? I think.
Oh, okay.
That's
Because
what I
that was
think.
the reason. If it was all by popularity, like the MTV Movie Awards used to be, where it was like legit just you vote, or like American Idol, where you pay money to vote more. That was an actual thing. If it was like that, then my copium was going to be that I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. I didn't watch the Game Awards. I didn't give a crap. So if I'm like the standard for a typical Mortal Kombat fan, a lot of them probably didn't care either, so they didn't vote.
I would imagine MK
whereas
fans.
I picture the Street Fighter fans being a bit more refined, like with their wine glass, and being like, yes, the Game Awards. I think I'll take that. Vote for Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
Whereas
I just
the
did
Mortal
a
Kombat players are like, playing like a violent God of War game or something, just ignoring it.
I just did a quick
Because they're
Google
a Mortal
search.
Kombat fan. They're not playing Mortal Kombat anymore. They already moved on.
Oh yeah.
Typical Mortal Kombat player.
So I just did a Google search. It says 10%. So That's
Oh
not
wow.
high. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Gotcha. Yeah.
Quite.
Well, the people on Twitter or YouTube were wrong too, because they were saying it's just because more people voted for Street Fighter 6. So you're wrong.
I remember saying that.
Wrong.
I was like, huh, wait, I don't think that's.
What's it like to be wrong? Wrong.
But yeah, overall, I had a good time chatting about this, and let's end the episode because we're 4 hours in. I got a lot to edit now.
Snake didn't even want to take part. He's like, if I don't take part, this will be over faster.
I just got nothing to say about it because I don't give a fuck about the Game Awards. I don't care if Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat won. It doesn't matter. Like, who the fuck actually cares?
Hey, it's okay, Mortal Kombat fans. You still got best multiplayer game from the Golden Joystick Awards.
Oh god.
Which
Yes,
still
and-
baffles me because, like, in the Game Awards, it's like Baldur's Gate won. It's like, yeah, no shit. Of course that would win. It's like a lot of other games would win in multiplayer game. Like, huh?
Yeah. Don't forget, Street Fighter fans, about Death Battle. Okay, Scorpion clapped Ryu, and you got to hold that forever.
Is that? I don't even know that actually. Let me see this.
Yeah, get clapped. Ryu had like his 6 different forms, still lost to base Scorpion because he's just that OP.
Oh my gosh, 9 years ago. Wow.
He went to Ryu, to Evil Ryu, to Power of Nothing Ryu, which is like the strongest Ryu can
Yeah,
get,
the newest
and
one.
still got beat because Scorpion can't be killed. He just comes back.
Oh, is
So
that how
was
he
like
won?
their reasoning is that he just comes back.
That's kind of boring.
And they were also saying this is a dumb argument because it works for so many characters.
Yeah.
But they said technically because Scorpion can teleport and we see him take Sub-Zero to the Netherrealm in MK9, that's a power he can do. He could just kill Ryu by taking him to the Netherrealm and just throwing him in the lava. Ryu's not lava
Yeah.
resistant, so he's totally screwed.
The
And it's like, yeah, that's actually technically true, but also he could kill 90% of the MK characters that way too.
yeah.
Like they'd all be screwed.
And even if Scorpion can't die, it's not like he's gonna come back like instantly, like, right? I didn't watch Death Battle, so I don't know if that's
well, they
what
were in the
happens.
Netherrealm in that part of the fight, which is why he just came back.
That's still kind of
Like Ryu used his ultimate attack to like kill Scorpion, and it worked. He was like reduced to bones, and then he was like got exhausted and fell to his knees, and Scorpion just like walked in behind him and like killed him or something like that. 'Cause
that's
he's
really
like,
lame. It's like, okay, if that can happen, then why doesn't it ever happen in the canon? Does Scorpion ever just fucking
Yeah.
like die and come back instantly and kill someone else? In
the more
Netherrealm?
logical explanation for why the Mortal Kombat character wins is because we see them casually getting their skull broken in gameplay and just walking it off.
Yeah, that's a more
whereas
funny
we
way.
see Ryu get injured in like his arm and like he's actually down, like he's actually got an injured arm for like the rest of story mode, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also I guess the fact that we never see Ryu like punching so hard that he does that to other Street Fighter characters, but we see the Mortal Kombat characters pull that off. So that's the. But Tekken still wins, by the way. Tekken has the most ironically overpowered characters
Oh, yeah.
just because of the feats they do in their endings, which are technically both canon and not canon,
I mean-
depending on what the writers say.
In Tekken 7, Kazuya just randomly lasers down like a freaking satellite, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's one thing, but also a building gets collapsed on top of him, an entire tower.
Oh, yeah.
And he just walks away from it. So that's pretty OP. King, the wrestler, he's just a pro wrestler who lifted weights.
Yeah.
He has no extra like mutant X-Men genes or anything. He stopped a moving train by standing in front of it and just like forcing it to stop.
Yeah.
And that's just a pro wrestler. So that guy is gonna clap every Mortal Kombat character and every Street Fighter character. Like just when you think about it, because who can hit with the power of a train in Mortal Kombat? Maybe some, but it's rare.
Yeah.
When did King do that?
In one of the endings, they did it with Armor King. To be fair, so you could argue he's half as strong as a train, but he still did it. Or maybe it was Marduk. It was King plus someone else
Oh,
stopped
two
a
people.
moving train.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me look this up. Maybe I could find it. But yeah,
And there's
Merry
other
Christ-
funny feats like that too. Like in story mode, there's some ridiculous things that happen. Apparently, Jin can use his motorcycle to defy gravity, so that's a funny thing. I don't get what power that is, but we got to add it to the list because motorcycles cannot go straight up a building. They can't do that. We got to add some new power that Jin has. But yeah, I would argue that's always been the joke to me is like, I'm a Mortal Kombat fan, obviously, but Tekken characters are just on a different level. They're all freaks of nature.
Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, Tekken beats them all.
Then again, like you could argue that Street Fighter is crazy too because Akuma once destroyed an island by punching down.
Yeah.
Like he sunk
M. Bison is just
And-
keeps not getting killed until Street Fighter
Balrog
5.
killed an elephant by punching it once in the head. That's a pretty strong punch because those things casually destroy buses and stuff. So if he can punch an elephant and kill it. And then don't forget Sakura, the regular schoolgirl. She fought Balrog to a standstill. So she's a freak of nature. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
Snake, send us off. You got the best outro ideas. You got it.
Have a.
You.
Oh, have I? He said.
Oh,
I thought he
okay.
was gonna say "Have a Merry Christmas" because he had the outfit like "Have a."
Yeah, you said
Merry
have a, and then you kind of just didn't move for like 5 seconds, so it was like a little laggy.
See ya. Oh, Merry Christmas. This is probably the last one before Christmas.
That's right. Happy.
Unless it goes up after
2
weeks. Unless it goes up after, if it goes after Christmas, then it's Happy New Year. But if it's before Christmas, it's Merry Christmas. Just remember, I was the only one who bothered to do something Christmassy, unlike these two losers. I made this episode special. It was me only. I made it special.
You didn't do it last year,
these
though.
Two. What?
You didn't do it. I mean, last year's Christmas, you didn't do anything special. Oh my gosh, he's got
It's his show now. It's his podcast now. 'Cause he's the only one that embraced the Christmas spirit.
Wait, do I have to edit this now? Fuck.